I think this whole Saylor is selling narrative is a trap. A trap in not the way that you think it's a trap, and actually quite a negative way, I must say, given the fact that Stretch has broken parity down to $96, and even SAT-A, which is Strive's preferred equity model that gives a higher yield than Stretch and distributes dividends daily instead of once a month, that's also fallen off parity. The whole model is broken, in my opinion, and can lead to a little bit more of a downside push. We'll go over Bitcoin's latest price action. In our last video, we highlighted that since Ethereum had reached, Ethereum being the higher beta asset of Bitcoin, since that had reached its golden pocket, Bitcoin will likely follow and do the same thing. We reached the golden pocket, and we're now below it. Anything below the golden pocket with a daily confirmation, that got checked too, would make me believe a $60,000 Bitcoin. That's been my base case for the past few weeks. The 60K Bitcoin case will have much more evidence to support its validity. In my view, 60K Bitcoin is likelier than ever to happen. So in this update, I want to go through Bitcoin, the latest analysis, if $60,000 is calling or not, what the current Fear and Greed Index being at 11 means, and why I think if you are a spot investor, buying now makes the most amount of sense. And oh, one more thing. There is a support line on the logarithmic scale, which is going viral. On the log, Bitcoin looks like we are bouncing off of this historically beautiful line of support. I have my 2 Satoshis on it. I have my 2 Satoshis on this exact support line. So if all of those topics sound interesting to you, make sure to watch until the end and subscribe to the channel if you're not a crypto kid already, because tomorrow I'm going to be dropping an update with the one and only Uncle Ben, also known as Benjamin Cowan. It was a beautiful interview. Ben talks about what he has to see in order to confirm the bear market being over and the bull market starting. That will be uploaded tomorrow. Subscribe, turn on the notification bell. If you're looking for a place to be trading Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, check out the links in the description to our amazing sponsors who make these videos a reality, particularly BTCC, who are currently offering the best bonus available. If you use the second link in the description to sign up, you will get up to a $30,000 sign-up bonus, plus a 10% deposit bonus, and a 33% discount on trading. To create your account, you only need an email address, create your password, click next, and you will be on BTCC. With that, let's begin our Bitcoin TA. We've fallen below the golden pocket, and the higher beta version of Bitcoin, that is Ethereum, has already reclaimed the 0.886, which is $1,800. We've been bearish on Ethereum since 2.4K. We had highlighted that what many assumed was a bull flag is actually a Bart Simpson pattern. We drew the squiggly line, which showed exactly this price action. Now, I also anticipated Ethereum reclaiming its February low, and the fact that we've gotten so close to it, and the fact that we've come down to the red line on the Fibonacci retracement shows that I think Bitcoin will also come down to its red line, the 0.886, which is 62,700. And if we get to there, then you might as well take out all the liquidity, which is built up at 60. Bitcoin loves to take out liquidity. And I'm telling you, there is a bunch which is built up right below 60K. Ultimately, I think Bitcoin will sweep its 60K low. I'm happy to be pragmatic, and I'm willing to be pragmatic if we bounce from here. But I think it's unlikely. We're following the 4-year cyclicality still beautifully. And that would suggest that a low is created in June. After a June low, we rally some point in summer. And then with the stock market topping out, we come lower in Q4. That's more what Ben Cowan talks about in our interview. So stay tuned for tomorrow. You'll find out more on that. If we come to the line of logarithmic support, I know it's great, and it is great. And because it is great, I need to tell you this. I think when everybody is selling, including Michael Saylor, there is actually no better time to buy. I'm not opening any bullish leverage long trades, don't get me wrong. But overall, prices head higher. And that's what this chart is showing you. No matter if you go into a bull market, which then leads into a bear market, which then leads into a bull, then a bear, then a bull, then a bear, overall prices go up. This is how Keynesian economics work. Keynesian economics, through the interest rate cycles, create boom and bust cycles, known as bull and bear markets. Both the bull and the bear market, they're both temporary. But at the end of it, markets go higher because M2 money supply keeps on increasing. They keep on devaluing the dollar, and Bitcoin hedges you against that devaluation. So as an investor, this chart tells me that there is no better time to buy than now. I think it is a great time to buy. Can we go lower than this? Most likely. But even if we do, I'll buy more. And if I have the guts to be able to hold for 3-4 years, then that investment will end up doing fine. That's what I believe in. These are just temporary. And I saw a lot of comments in my prior videos. I don't want to call anybody out, but many of these comments were saying things like, see you at 26K or going all in at 40K. No analyst in the world, whether if you're Benjamin Cohen, Da Vinci, Carl, Raoul Pal, no matter which analyst and how incredible you are, calling an exact price for you to bottom at is impossible. And if you do, it's purely based off of luck. A good analyst can understand, okay, we're down 45 to 50% from the all-time high. This is a significant enough correction for an asset, which I know is going to continue going up and up and up. So I think it's a good time for me to start dollar cost averaging. That's what you can do. And when you get a confirmation of the bear flipping into the bull, that's when opening long positions in my personal trading thought process, that's when it makes sense. And I know that Bitcoin will keep on going up. People will say that, yeah, but it's not like gold. And what does Bitcoin do apart from how is it being the hedge asset that it is? We know it's finite, but is the scarcity the only aspect which allows Bitcoin to keep going up over time and hedge against debasement of currency? No. Bitcoin offers a solution to the world. Bitcoin is a product. It's like Starlink for money, but even way better than Starlink. Yeah, Starlink allows communication, internet access, but Bitcoin allows the transfer of capital. In an environment where potentially the internet doesn't even exist, you can still pay for things. You can still purchase things. Who you are doesn't matter. What you do for work doesn't matter. Which country you're from, which country you're in, if you're at 40,000 feet in the air, if you're down in the Mariana Trench, you can still send Bitcoin and receive Bitcoin. You don't pay a subscription fee to be able to use Bitcoin. You don't need to be in a certain geographical location to have access to Starlink. No. Bitcoin is worldwide, so it's better than Starlink. And to me, a $1.5 trillion market cap is super undervalued. And you got to remember, I told you that it's temporary to be in a bull and a bear. This legend posted a video in 2015, 2014, saying that there was this one time Bitcoin went from 6 cents to 36 cents, and then it crashed down to 21 cents. Another time from $85 to $29. 85 cents to $29, and then you crashed to 3. Another time Bitcoin went all the way up to 213 and crashed all the way down to 70. It's temporary, boom and bust cycles, but eventually you keep heading higher, and that's what matters. In the bear market, being in fear for most of the time is normal, and you're going to be in fear until we reach a point of distribution. Markets top in distribution, and markets bottom in accumulation. In the previous cycle, you topped in distribution, then you went into bear flags, bear flags, bear flags, and then finally you had an accumulation phase, giving you an opportunity to really just load up. Load up, load up, load up, load up. It's not like in a snap of a finger when markets reverse its overall trend, which will be the main direction for 2-3 years. No, you have time. And after that accumulation, you went into a bullish phase with many bull flags, then a distribution, and now we have the bear flags. So as soon as we get that accumulation, boy, that's the time to accumulate and really just load up with capital. At least that's what I'm going to do. Of course, nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just what I see, and I share what I see with you guys. And one of the things I see, I don't think you'll like, but the whole STRC model being a little bit flawed. We made videos on this previously, but when we made videos, STRC at least kept its parity to $100. Now that Saylor is down $8.9 billion, $7.6 billion on his total Bitcoin investment, Tom Lee is doing worse. I wish Tom Lee peaceful nights of rest. I don't think he may be getting too much of that in recent days. However, STRC, Stretch, the preferred equity, the vehicle, giving strategy the ability to accumulate tremendous amounts of Bitcoin, lost parity. The whole point of STRC was for investors who wanted to escape Bitcoin's volatility and earn a passive dividend on something which remains at $100. That dividend is 11.5% per year, distributed in a division of 12 every single month. And that percentage is subject to change, but we'll get into that. So whilst keeping your capital in a preferred equity for most of the time, where it keeps parity to $100, you lose out on the Bitcoin volatility, but you get your passive income that maybe you use to buy some Bitcoin in exchange. Strategy then takes the money you give them for STRC and they put it into Bitcoin. The way they pay your yield is by the capital gains they receive from Bitcoin's appreciation. They sell the Bitcoin and they pay your dividend. So why not just buy the Bitcoin directly and then pay yourself a dividend by taking profits when prices go up? The Bitcoins will be under your self-custody, not on a brokerage where it could get closed down and you may lose access to your STRC. Well, with Bitcoin, you can take it off the exchange. I just don't understand. Since we're below $100 by $4, 4% below where we should be, strategy will have to increase the dividend significantly to make it lucrative enough to bring back market equilibrium. If they increase the dividend, strategy's only income is through its treasury, its gains on Bitcoin. That increase in dividend will be paid off by selling more Bitcoin or using the cash reserve. But because they're selling Bitcoin or using the cash reserve, the confidence in MSTR will drop, the confidence in STRC will drop, meaning they would have to push dividends even higher to maintain interest, which there is none currently. I see a potential scenario where these Bitcoins, 32 Bitcoin have been gone, they've been sold. I see this bleeding if Bitcoin doesn't reverse course ASAP, which it doesn't look like it will do. That's concerning. According to Saylor, the reason he sold was to prove to credit rating agencies that Bitcoin is a sellable asset and it has value. Because if you don't sell it, according to critics, it doesn't have value. So you need to sell it to prove it has value, which is strange because you don't need Saylor to sell to prove that Bitcoin has value. There's an entire market that's buying and selling Bitcoin at the lowest decimal you can imagine every millisecond. I don't believe that excuse so much. Maybe it's true. I don't know the intricacies. I don't know what the credit agencies are telling strategy. So maybe he is telling the absolute truth. This is just my own opinion. I could be wrong. Overall, not a fan. Don't understand it. I'd rather buy the Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin goes up by the percentage they assume Bitcoin will go up by, then I can sell my Bitcoin whenever I need to and pay myself that dividend through the capital appreciation. To conclude, geopolitics not doing well. We're seeing increased military action in the region. President Trump said something which caused a huge question mark to come up right in front of my face. And that was him saying, could have the blockade of Iran lifted by Labor Day. So they want to keep the naval blockade, which doesn't allow around 20% of the world's crude oil supply to enter the world, the rest of the world. That's the blockade is restricting that, which keeps WTI near $100, making inflation rapidly rise, making the Fed to not cut rates, making us suffer as risk-on asset holders. Trump said that he would not lift it up, or he would have the blockade lifted by Labor Day. Labor Day is in September, guys and girls. We know through aviation industry experts that most airline companies will not last the summer with current oil prices. Having crude oil remain at around $100 per barrel will result in inflation going maybe even to above the 9.1% highs of 2021. And if the Fed hikes rates, I just smell a disaster, guys. I smell a disaster. I think after the IPOs, the S&P will correct big time, and Bitcoin will generate its lowest point in Q4 of this year. And that's just what happens every single time. I'm not a fan of this macro environment at all. And with politicians, I don't believe what they say either. So this could be false, and maybe they decide to lift up the blockades much earlier than Labor Day. President Trump, for instance, says we don't have very much inflation. We do. So that's factually incorrect. And then he said that there were some strong words exchanged in a call recently with another political leader. But then he referred to that same political leader, President Netanyahu. He said that they have a good relationship after exchanging what Walter Bloomberg describes as strong language. So I don't know. I don't trust what politicians say. I look at what they do, and I take that as my fact. And the facts are escalated military tensions. Escalated military tensions will keep crude oil prices at elevated territories, and that will keep interest rates at elevated territories, not doing any favors to risk-on holders. With that, thank you so much for watching. Guys, make sure to watch this interview tomorrow with the legendary Ben. It will be uploaded, I would say, in roughly 15, 16 hours. If you turn on the notification bell, you won't miss it. Thank you all. Good night. See you all soon.